Okay, so welcome to our Team Tuesday call. We are going to focus back on some personal and self-development tonight with Debbie. So we're really excited to talk about that. First, I just want to share a couple announcements. Do you guys notice that my voice kind of changes when I hit record? I just noticed that. I'm like, welcome to our call. Anyway, you guys who are going to Celebration, I do have a private group that we can just keep in touch. Please make sure it's the same with any group. You have to accept it. So you might even be able to see things, but you're not going to be able to post in there or be tagged unless you're in the group. We'll talk about meeting places and all of that stuff. If somebody wants to go to lunch or you want to meet outside to sit together, that kind of stuff. So make sure you're in that Celebration group. And then there is also going to be obviously no call next Tuesday because we'll be in Nashville still. And so just make sure that you mark your calendars that there's no call next Tuesday. However, August 20th, so if you guys want to write this down, we're going to do a special call. So it's going to be a different time, but it's on a Tuesday. Excuse me. Let me just look at the date. Tuesday the 20th. And it's going to be an ISA-Body call. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern instead of 8:30 because we're including Canada. So Christine Carter and I were talking about this at the Step Up event. So the winner of the ISA-Body challenge, Jennifer, her name is Jennifer, she's going to be actually doing the PowerPoint presentation that she did for us at that event. And we're also going to have the two team finalists that we have for ISA-Body. So Chris Robinson, who is local to me here in our community in North Carolina, he's going to be on sharing just a few minutes and just what it took for him getting through that 16 weeks. And also Melissa Antis is from Canada, and she's also a finalist under Christine Carter's team. So we have a male and a female finalists for the ISA-Body Challenge. So we are going to do a special call August 20th, 9 p.m. Eastern. Again, Jennifer's going to go through the slides that she did at the event and really talk about how, like, for us to commit to ISA-Body, like how to take it seriously and how to make sure our customers are in ISA-Body. And she's going to share some stats. They also get just so many perks and everything once they're a finalist. So it's really something I think that as a team we can focus more diligently on. I know I need to do that. So just mark your calendars with that. The other thing I just wanted to remind you guys is to please, please, please implement the 3 R's. I have been doing training with other teams and they are reaching out like crazy to me that this is the game changer for them and their business, and they started it right away. The 2-star people that I trained are constantly in touch with me telling me how much it helps. They printed out the worksheets. So when you are talking to a prospect, you're focusing on results. How can you get them their results with a plan that they can stick to? Retention, you want to set them up for success. Help them through. Again, that 3-week Zoom is really, really key. If you do not have a Zoom, remember it is free. If you do not know how to share a screen and you need help with any of that, I will happily help you, or I can do some with you. I can do the 3-week calls with you, but I'm telling you, it's a game changer for retention because people are not logging in and they're not looking at all the products that we have. And I will tell you, there's some more products coming with Dr. Plant that are going to be really, really amazing products. So you want people to understand that there's so much that they can shop for. So that Zoom call is helping retention. It also helps the 3rd R, which is rank advancing, because at that time you can really talk about sharing. Remember, sometimes people say no to sharing because they don't really know anything about it. They don't know how they're going to do. But now you get them on 3 weeks. They feel good. They love your support. And that's when they're going to be a little more open. So at least I have found. And I tell them, listen, you can just change your account to an associate right now, or when you have your first person, and you do get those 2 free enrollment coupons. So we want to help people get results, stay on the products, get paid. But you want to just have it. I think having that as your mindset, which we're going to talk a lot about mindset tonight, but that's your expectation. So if you have it, like I do with the worksheet, it's just an expectation for you. So you don't have to just be willy-nilly about it. This is your expectation. You talk to a prospect, results, retention, rank advance. Now still, I have the same conversation with everybody, guys, and there's still some people that just aren't a fit. I don't take it as a no. I take it as they're not a fit for my team, or maybe not a fit for my team right now. Sometimes things change, as you guys know. So just have that mindset that you are going to go through that process. And then we're going to focus a lot on posture and confidence tonight. And Debbie's going to share some of the blocks that actually prevent people from having the kind of posture and confidence needed to really do well. So as I've shared several times, that posture and confidence is huge. When you speak to somebody, they want to know that you're the expert, or at least that you know what to recommend. So don't shy away from getting into that role. That confidence and posture that you know how you're going to lead them is really important. So if we just leave it up to them and say, well, what do you think you want to start with? Well, what's your budget like? Well, do you think you want to do this or this? It's kind of feels like the decision making is up to them, and you really lose that control. And it's really important because when people are making commitment to make a change in their nutrition and it's money they're going to invest in, they want to feel very secure and they want to feel confident in you. And the only way they can feel confident in you is if that's the posture you have and that's what you're breeding. So if you're not there yet, that's why the three-way calls are really good, because then you could kind of feed off the other person's confidence until you have your own. But it's very, very important, that posture, that confidence, that you're directing how the enrollment's going to go. Of course, you want to work with them, ask them questions, but you're really the one that's going to help them, guide them to the best fit for them. And I did do a post the other day about kind of taking ownership that this is a business. I often hear people will say things, even they'll feel like, oh, please don't post that I earned money because I signed up a couple of my friends, and then if you post that I earned money, it's going to make me feel weird that I made money from them. And like in the past, I've like totally said, oh, I understand, no problem. But now I'm kind of like, no, I don't understand. Like, let's take ownership, guys. This is our business. And when we take ownership and we actually will thank somebody for their business, doesn't that change it a little bit? Now we're not trying to make money from somebody. We are actually thanking them for their business, for trusting you, for coming to you for their nutrition goals. So work on your mindset with that, because I do feel like there's some people that still struggle. I know there was a very key question that I asked Rod early on, because he was very reluctant to share isogenics with his clients and people that were needing help. And I asked him if he felt that isogenics can help them improve their results, if they would get results faster with isogenics, if he truly felt that and believed that. And he said yes. And I said, would you feel more comfortable if it was sold at GNC? Would you say, oh my gosh, this is so great, you can get it at GNC? And he's like, yeah, I would. And I said, well, then it's about the money. It's that you're earning money. There's something there that's making you uncomfortable to share something you believe in because you're going to earn money. And he realized that, yes, that's what it was. And I'm like, but you're charging them to train. So, they're your clients who are paying you to train them. And this is something else you can recommend. And the cool thing is you're actually really not making money off them. They're paying the same price you're paying wholesale. The company's just rewarding you for the referral. So it's just a mindset and how we think of things. So it's really important that we work on our posture, our confidence, our wording, our verbiage. And the last thing I'm going to say before I want to turn it over to Debbie is that it's easier said than done, right? I can say, just say it this way, or I can like write it, type it all out. Guys, this is what you say on the phone. I can give you a voice clip. Say this. But when you're on the phone or you're in person talking to somebody, does it not like kind of roll off your tongue the same way? I know that happened to me early on, and I was just wanting to say those things and it just didn't come out that way. And so what I want to tell you is that it does take practice. And I find the key places to practice are, one, with people you're never going to see again. So when you're out and about with strangers, waiters that are waiting on you, or if you're out vacationing, or just anywhere that you're meeting new people, because it's, who cares, right? If you mess up, you never see them again. And also, guys, that's what our team is for. So if you have to get together with your team, say, you know what, can we do, and I know we did this like a year or so ago where we paired up and we did some practice calls. I was even doing them because I wanted to practice talking about the opportunity on the first call. And I will be honest with you, it wasn't in my comfort zone yet. So I even practiced with my team and said, listen, I'm going to practice with you and I want to work on bringing up the opportunity right away. So I want you to pretend like you're just somebody only interested in products so that I can practice real case scenario. And I did. And I remember being nervous. I think it was Sivan I did it with on the phone. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm like sweating over here. It was nerve wracking, but I still practice and I still will practice. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because if you are having these conversations and you are not saying those things that you want to say, and you know that your confidence and posture is shaky, and you know you need to practice, then we need to utilize our team, and we have to start doing those practice calls. And then finally, I just want to say, Shayla and I are going to, hopefully this week, Shayla, we want to go through one of the Zoom, like I've been telling you how I do a 3-week Zoom call, and I want to record one where she's just going to be a customer, and we're going to do it like a realistic situation with just a customer that came in for the products who's on week 3. I want to record it because when I was doing Dawn Cermak's call, she thought it was like an hour call. She's like, oh, that's a great idea, but I know it's time consuming. Is it like an hour? And I'm like, no, they've been like about 14 to 20 minutes. 25 minutes was the most, and that was somebody we were chit-chatting a lot, and she had a lot of questions about the business. So she had in her mind thought it would be an hour. So I want to record one so you guys can see. Like, I have an agenda. I'm on the Zoom, and I know like we're going here, here, here. There's an agenda. I'm going to be on the call and off the call. So I'll record that with Shayla. We'll do a practice one, and that'll be a good tool for you guys. So now I'm gonna mute myself and unmute Debbie, because I want her to dive in more to those blocks that prevent us from feeling that posture and confidence. And I think it's gonna be so helpful. So okay, Debbie, there you go.
I'm unmuted. Okay. Hi guys. So as we talk about personal development tonight, one of the things that I want to start out saying is that no one needs to feel bad that they need personal development. We all are on a journey. We're all on a path. We're all growing. We're all at different places on our journey. So no one needs to feel bad or feel not good enough or that something's wrong with them because they need personal development, because it is part of this business. Your growth, and we've said this before, your growth in your business, it has to so much do with your own personal development and how much you grow as a person. And so I just want to say right off the start, I know Gina feels the same way because we've talked about this. Her and I are on the very same page about this, is that if there are things in your business that you're having trouble with, and I'm going to talk about some of those things tonight, and the blocks that keeps us from being successful, keeps us from moving forward. So this call is going to be a call for you to have some awareness, because you can't change what you don't know, right? You can't make changes in your life if you're not aware of it. So this is about tonight, you just kind of looking inward, looking at yourself, looking at your personality, and saying and asking yourself the question, where is it that I need to grow in my own personality and my own personal development that's going to help my business go forward? And so anyway, the thing that I wanted to say about Gina and I being on the same page and that we feel this way is that we are not just leaders to teach you about the business, to do 3-way calls with you about new consultants and teach you how to do a 3-way call, all those things, yes. And to, all the things that we place in the business page and all. But we are also here to help you with these personal development things. So if you reach out to us and you say, Debbie, or you say, Gina, and you say, listen, I'm really having trouble in this area. This is something that I've had trouble with in my life for a long time. I really need help with that. We are really there willing to help you with that. And because we've had to grow so much in our own personal development, and we're still growing in our own personal development, but we are here to really help you guys in these areas. So don't think that we're here just for the business for you. We are, but this is such a huge part of your business, guys, and that's why we want to have these calls talking about personal development and talking about the blocks that we have and why we can't go forward. So in saying that, first of all, I was making some notes today, and the one thing that I also want to say about personal development when it pertaining to the business is how we do one thing is how we do everything. You ever heard that saying? Okay, so this isn't just, let's say you find something, a block, or you find something that I'm going to talk about tonight. You say, oh yeah, that's me, Debbie. That's how I feel. Look at other parts of your life, because this personal development isn't just about you building your isogenics business. This is probably has to do with a lot of things in your life, your relationships, your coworkers, relationships you have with friends, your spouse, and all that. Because we really do, when there's an area in our life that needs personally developed, that we need to work on, then it does show up in every area of our life. So tonight we're talking about, we're on a team call. So we're talking about what we need to work on in our own life personally that's going to move us forward and help us in our business. But you're going to be able to apply this also. You're going to see a change when you start working on these things in other areas of your life. So first of all, I want to name some things that we have to work on, that we may have to work on. I'm going to talk about them for a minute, and then after I talk about the things about personal development that we may need to work on, I'm going to then go into the blocks of why we have a hard time working on those things. Because we can have an awareness that we have some of these things, but having the awareness, then we need an action plan of, okay, this is what I do, this is where I'm stuck, and now what do I do about it? You may read self-help books. Hopefully you listen to motivational things on YouTube and podcasts and all, and I believe all of us do. And I love that about our team. Let me tell you guys, I love that we have such positive energy. I love that we're a spiritual group. I love that we're about gratitude, because I'm telling you, that's what's going to make our team grow. And I know that that's something that I wanted to attract into this team, and Gina too, is to have like-minded people that are at our vibration that feel that way. And so I just believe that none of you are here by accident. So let's look at some of the things that we may need to work on. And all of us are different. And one of the things I want to say in the beginning is it's not about comparison. What I may need to work on continually is something that you may not need to work on. So there is no comparison. There is no right or wrong. There is no judgment. There is no blame. There's not well, she doesn't have that and I have this problem. There is no judgment in here, you guys, with our team. Wherever we're at. And you need to feel safe in your team that we're not going to judge you and we're going to help you. That you feel safe to communicate with us. You feel safe to talk to us about these things that maybe you need a hurdle that you need to go over, that you need to grow in. Okay, so first of all, things to work on. Of course, we always talk about belief in ourselves, that we need to believe in ourselves that we can grow our business, because we are, even though we're a team, we are responsible to grow our business. So belief in ourselves and belief in network marketing. We've talked about that before. So that might be an area, that look, I'm really struggling with that. I'm really, and then I'm going to talk about the blocks of why you're struggling with it. But I'm just going to name some of these things now. Belief in self, belief in network marketing, things to work on, being a people pleaser, rejection, fear of rejection, don't like people to reject you. Remember how I talked about how we do one thing, how we do everything? So remember, as I'm naming these things, I'm sure that if you say, yeah, that's me, Debbie, that it shows up in other areas of your life too. Afraid what others are going to think about me. This is a big one. So worried about the opinion of others. And let me tell you, this is something, if you have that, then you're probably somebody who doesn't speak up about your feelings, your relationships. You probably have trouble setting boundaries. You probably have trouble, saying no to people, because if you are afraid what other people are thinking about you and other people's opinion, it's impossible to take care of your feelings and someone else's at the same time, because you're so worried what their reaction is going to be. So that's a big one, I know, is afraid what other people will think. Self-confidence in yourself. I have trouble having confidence in myself. I have trouble with my self-esteem. I have things to work on, organizational skills. I'm super unorganized. I'm all over the place. I just can't get organized. I have trouble with time management. My time management is horrible. I have trouble with consistency. I just can't be consistent. All my life, I've started out with projects. I've started out with things with a bang. I've come out of the gate with a bang. We see this a lot in this business. People, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this business. I'm on fire. Maybe they might come in and they're studying everything and listening to things. They come in and they sign up a bunch of people, and then all of a sudden they fade away. But that might be how they show up in everything in their life, that they start a project or they start something and then they never finish it. Let's see, not following through with things. Procrastination, just procrastinating, getting ready to get ready, procrastinating. And a lot of these areas that I'm talking about, which I'll go into as a block, have to do with shame. Social anxiety. I have a fear of connecting. I have social anxiety. I don't connect well with people. And social anxiety can cause you to have trouble on social media, but it also can cause you to have trouble with networking, going out to meetups and networking groups, and even in Starbucks, and connecting with people. And so if this is something that you have trouble with, I want to say that's something that I'm really good at. I'm really good with connect. I don't have any problem walking into anywhere and connecting with people wherever I am. I just love to connect and meet new people. But I've been like that. It's not something I've been like that since I was a little girl. So I have all these different things that I use with people on how to connect with them. So if that's something that you say, Debbie, I walk in and to a network group, I walk in somewhere and I really don't know how to connect. So I would love to help you with that, if that's one of the areas. I compare myself to others all the time. I'm always comparing what she's doing in the business, how she's doing, and what she does on social media, and how she does this and that. And so I don't have my own identity and how I'm building my business, because I'm always comparing myself to others. That I take everything personal. I take everything personal, and I need everybody to like me. You will never, that will cause you to not succeed and go further in this business if you need everybody to like you and you need approval from other people to be okay. Because let me tell you, not everybody's going to approve of what we're doing. Not everybody's going to like what you post. Everybody's going to like what you're doing and posting about yourself. And you need to get to a place where that's okay. You don't need other people's approval. My philosophy is that as long as I have peace and I feel like I'm walking in integrity, that I can approve of what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm honoring God, then my opinion and God's opinion to me is the most important. What other people think, as long as I have peace between him and I, then I really don't care. So, now I wasn't always like that, but it's a great place to be. It's a place of peace to be. So let's talk about some of the blocks and look at the patterns of why we might have some of these things. One, in naming some of the things to work on, is fear. Fear of change. Like, you might say, well, yeah, Debbie, this is how I've been. I don't follow through. I'm a procrastinator. I never finish things. I never complete things. I have social anxiety. Some of the things. A lot of the root of some of those things, you guys, is fear. Because change is uncomfortable. You know, when we're working through personal development and growing through things, and you know, I always like to use Gina as an example. I remember when she first started, and some of the conversations and the times that she would call me and the conversations that we would have, and the fear. And I know, Gina, that you can relate to some of these things that I mentioned, and we would talk about that, and we would walk through that, and we would talk about boundaries with people. And where she was then and where she is today, she's a totally different person, like 180-degree turnaround. But she walked through those things, and some of them were hard. Some of them were hard to change, like that she had to step out of her comfort zone, and she had to confront people, and she had to set boundaries, and she had to stand, you know, act as if sometimes, because she knew that it was good for her character and that she needed to make those changes. And so fear can keep us, you know, fear keeps us stuck. Fear is immobilizing. Fear keeps us from getting out of our comfort zone. Fear keeps us from making change. Fear keeps us from helps us to make excuses, when really the block, the root is that you're afraid, that you have a lot of fear. So be honest with yourself about things that you may be afraid of. Are you afraid of rejection? Are you afraid what others are going to think about you? Now I'm going to tell you about another fear, a couple other fears. And these are really hard sometimes to recognize, but they're pretty prevalent. And it's really subconscious. It can be really subconscious, is that you really need to know what your money mindset is. Because, and this has a lot to do with how you grew up, the message you got about money, but people can be afraid of success. They may say they want to be successful, but deep down, they may be afraid to be successful. They may be afraid what comes with that. They may be afraid that, or think that they're not really worthy to be successful. They say it consciously, but subconsciously, people sabotage because they're afraid of success. And that is another blockage, is sabotage. But let's talk about our money blueprint for a minute before I go into sabotage. Is that another money blueprint can be, I may be afraid of success, of being successful, but I also may be afraid of failure. What if I step out and I really try to do this? I give it 100%. I do everything I'm supposed to be doing. I follow, everything that's in the business group, and I'm doing everything and I'm connecting with people, but I fail. And so because of fear of failure, we can subconsciously sabotage ourselves. And sabotage is huge, and sabotage is so subtle, you guys. It really is. Sometimes we can be so self-sabotaging in our life, but we don't realize we're self-sabotaging. So let me give you an example. Sometimes people can be going along in life, and their life is going great. On the outside, we're looking at their life. They're successful. They have a nice home. They have a nice family. They drive a nice car. They look like they have it all together. And yet this person may every once in a while go out and do something to sabotage that. And that has to do with they don't feel deserving of the success that they're having. And these are blockages. These are things, guys, that we need to be aware of. These are things that a lot of people don't talk about. But they're things that happen in business and in network marketing. Because even though we have a team, we have our own business. We run our own business. We share with each other what works. We share with each other what doesn't work. But we ultimately have our own health and wellness business, each and every one of us. And we need to own that. And I love the live that Gina did the other day. It's a real short live if you haven't watched it, about owning that you own a business. You need to treat this like a business. Even if you're doing it part-time, even if you're doing it to maybe just make a car payment or pay your mortgage. Maybe you're not looking to right now to make six figures. Maybe that's not your goal right now. But whatever your goal is with your isogenics, it's still a business. It's still a side gig. It's still a part-time job. It's still a full-time job. Look at it as a business and treat it as a business and own it and be proud of it. Defeatism kind of goes along with self-sabotage, except have you ever known people who just have a defeatism attitude, personality? Like you listen to their story about their life and their children and their marriage and their whatever, and they just have a negative defeatism attitude. They feel like they're always defeated. They're always looking at what they don't want and what's wrong with their life instead of what's right with their life. That's why I love we do the gratitude. But this can be a blockage because the universe only knows energy. We always attract who we are, not what we want. We may want this business. We may want to succeed in this. We might have a belief system in it that we want it, but wanting it and who you are energetically and how you develop yourself and how you think of yourself and how you think about success and how you feel deserving of that is what really matters. Doesn't matter what we want, it matters who we are, because who we are is what we're really going to attract. So look if that's something maybe that maybe you've tried a lot of different businesses and you've failed at many things. Maybe you've failed at relationships. Maybe you're at a place in your life right now where you say, listen, Debbie, I really need to do this because I've had a lot of failures in my life. And this is something that I really, really want. And so if that's you and that's the truth, then we want to encourage you to work on your personal development. How many of you follow Tracy O'Malley? I love Tracy O'Malley. Her story is so amazing. She's all about personal development. She's been in recovery for alcoholism for years, but she is the sweetest, kindest, biggest heart. But she just really puts herself out there about how she's always growing, how she's always changing, how her stinking thinking and how she's changing her thinking and what she's attracting in her life. She's so big about personal development and how personal development has caused her success. The changes that she made in her life, how she was sabotaging herself and her family and her relationships, and how she made those changes is what's made her the success that she is today, not only in her isogenics business, but in her relationships. Avoidance in the do. And this is a blockage we're talking about too. Avoidance in the do. Avoidance in how to get from A to Z. That you avoid doing the do. Now, we give you all kinds of things to follow, the leadership in action we have from Isogenics. We have a lot of different things. And you know what? Here's the thing about this business. We kind of do the same thing over and over every day. It's just repetitive, right, Gina? We do the same thing over and over every day. And we set out our time blocks in doing this. Now, we might do different things where we're going somewhere to connect with people, or we're creating a live event or something like that. But pretty much we go through our back office, we get up, we do our motivation, our prayer time and meditation time, but we reach out to people, we pour value into people, we look in our back office, we do the do. So some of the blockage can be that you're not doing the do. You're not doing from A to Z, or maybe you're doing it every once in a while. You're just not being consistent with it, and then you're wondering, well, why isn't my business growing? Because maybe I'm not being consistent. Listen, let me tell you something, because where can we get more raw and real than here? We're a family, we're a team. We need to get raw and real with each other. We all have days, you guys, where we get discouraged, or we get frustrated, or we get tired of the no's, or we get tired of returns, or we get tired of this, and we just want to say, screw it, and just take a break and walk away. So that's okay. You need to give yourself permission that right now I'm feeling discouraged, I'm feeling frustrated, things aren't going in my business the way I want the last month or the last week, or maybe I didn't sign anybody last month, whatever, that it's okay to feel that way. You just don't need to stay there. You got to get yourself up out of there. And if you are in that space and you've been there for a while, then reach out to somebody in our team who you can share that with, that we can encourage you and that we can help you. Because discouragement is part of it. But here's the thing about this business. You are going to get discouraged, But if you're easily discouraged that you quit, then you aren't going to make it. Because let me tell you, you will get discouraged. You will get rejected. There will be people that won't care what you're doing and won't like what you're doing. You are going to have all those things. But those are the things that you have to just push aside and keep moving forward. Fail forward, fail forward, fail forward, fail forward. Because we say all the time, the only way to fail is to stop. But on the road to failing is growing. You know, as we fail, we're also succeeding because we're growing personally. Hindsight's great. You know, you don't realize sometimes how much you're growing in the down times, in the failure times, right? You don't realize, Nicole, but you are. You know, it's those valley times that we grow that help our development, help our personality to grow. Another block can be, and this may seem obvious, but it's really big and needs to be worked on, is not feeling worthy. You know, not feeling worthy of being successful in this business. And if that's the case, I guarantee that not feeling worthy shows up in other areas of your life also. And a little minute ago, I was talking about shame. And shame is a very deep root. It comes from years ago in us. And it really means not feeling good enough. Just not feeling good enough. Just feeling like you don't measure up. It can come from maybe how you grew up. It can come from maybe a terrible relationship you had or something that happened in your life or the message you got in growing up. But not feeling good enough is going to keep you from attracting and being successful in this business. So you need to figure out how you're going to raise your level of self-love and self-respect so that you can feel confident, because how you feel about you and the confidence and the posture that you come into this business and you present yourself to people is what is going to convince people. It's not so much what you say, it's your energy. It's how you say it and the energy and the posture and the confidence that you have. So if that's something you need to work on, then work on it. Let's work on that. Maybe you don't have a block. Can be, I've heard this, I don't have the support of my family. Maybe my wife doesn't want me to do this. My husband doesn't want me to do this. This is a pretty common thing, right, Gina? This is a pretty common thing. We see women come in, they're gung-ho, and their husbands are very against it. They don't want them to do it. But they're doing it, they believe in it, but they don't have the support at home. And so eventually we see them come along, but this can be a block. You know, it can hinder us. And so if that's the case, where maybe your spouse isn't as supportive as you'd like your spouse to be, then you need to make sure that you have support of your team family, because you're going to need that. If your family isn't support you, we need to be your family to support you and encourage you on those days that you get discouraged. Okay, so we want to stop this now. We've got about 10 more minutes. And we want to open it up because we wanted to have some interaction and some discussion in here of you guys talking about some of these things, and hoping that you will bring some of this out and talk about it, have questions or comments that you can relate to anything. So who wants to be unmuted and go first?
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Is this Sam?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. So you were talking about how you don't have a problem connecting with people when you go out. And those on the team who know me personally, have known me for a while, as I'm a very talkative person, I have zero problem talking to people. I'll talk to a stranger all day, every day, and, you know, walk into a room full of people, I've never met anyone, and I'll talk to everyone there. But I have a hard time making the transition into isogenics in the conversation.
Well, I don't always, when I go out and I connect with people, like whether it's in Starbucks or Publix or the grocery, wherever I am, I don't, or you know, getting a pedicure or something, I'm not always bringing up isogenics, always. I'm just connecting with them. The timing might be right. You know, if they're talking about I'm so tired, I have no energy today, or I got to go back to Weight Watchers, I've gained so much weight, then I'll use the line, well, you should do what I do. And they go, what do you do? You know, and then I start talking about isogenics.
Okay.
But if it's just connecting with someone, I always try to connect with someone, start a conversation with a compliment. You know, like I like their hair, I love the shoes they have on, or how cute their little girl is, or their dog, or something. And then just start a conversation with that and let the conversation flow. And then I will say to them, you know, I really like your energy. I really like you. You're somebody that I would love to connect with. Are you on Facebook? You know, of course, 9 times out of 10, they say yes. Would you mind, could we be friends on Facebook? Can we connect on Facebook? And I will just get my phone out right then. What's your name? Or have them type in their name, and then I will connect with them on Facebook. And then when I get home later that day, I will message them and say, you know, it was so great meeting you today. I believe in divine appointments. I don't believe I met you by accident. You're such a cool person. I'm so happy that we connected. I look forward to your post. That's it. But then, I got my little prospect book here. And so their name goes in my book. I just, in a live event that we're going to be doing, I had 3 people that I've met out, connected on Facebook, but I invited them to my event. So you just kind of drip on people, you know, that you want to just go in and comment on their posts. But so anyway, in answer to your question, honey, I don't always bring up something about isogenics right away, because I want to build, you know, this business is about building relationships. And sometimes we build relationships with people. I had a lady that I've been going to Zumba with she's been in there for like 2 years, and we dance next to each other and talk. We're friends on Facebook. She sees my isogenics thing. I talked to her about how much I love my shakes and all. And she's like, oh yeah, well, I do this, blah, blah, blah. And she just signed up. And I've been connected to her for 2 years and been in the same rooms with her for 2 years at the gym. But it was a process, you know, it's a process in connecting with people, but it's all about building a relationship. You know who's really good, and you might want to follow some of his YouTubes, and he has some great YouTubes teachings, training about this, is Zach Slobin. Zach Slobin has great team calls on connecting and how to connect. Who else? Anybody else?
I just also want to remind everybody, totally worth the investment to go to UIA. It's October 11th through 13th. It's in DC with David Woods. You know, if you're not investing in events, you're going to be way behind where you should be. So UIA, October 11th to the 13th, is a huge personal development, building belief, practicing the connecting, all of that stuff. And it's one event that even if you didn't want to build your business in isogenics, you will never regret going to it. It's just good for life. So just mark that down too. I know a lot of people on the team are already going, but that one I can't recommend it enough, honestly.
Yeah, I can't either. I highly, that's in Washington, right? Washington?
Yeah. DC, Washington, DC.
Yeah, in October.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to say something about yourself or personal development or anything? No?
Debbie?
Yes.
This
I'll
is
go.
Debbie.
No one goes.
Who said Debbie?
I did, but
Okay,
someone else was talking too. Sorry. I've noticed that instead of just trying to, what Sam was talking about, just trying to connect about isogenics out and about, I've started to just try and just smile and speak to people and ask them about things as sort of a start. And I realized that it takes like a conscious effort to remember to do that, because you're so used to just saying thank you, have a nice day, or you know, whatever, when you're out, just even at a cashier, you know what, just simply going through your days. So I realize that sometimes I'll be standing there for a couple of minutes and then I'll remember to do it, that it's really taking a conscious effort to make those connections. And so that's what I'm starting with for sure. And then on an occasion, certainly if the topic comes up, I'll talk to them about it, but I'm trying to just do basic connections first and trying to make that effort to do that part of it every single time I go out, sort of small steps.
It's practice. Connecting is practice. If you're not a natural connector, it is really practice, and that's really good, Danielle. And and today too, with everybody on their phones, it's even more so today. But people really do, I find, want you to connect with them and say things to them. They will respond well, but everybody's like this on their phone.
Yeah.
So we have to make on purpose and intention to connect with people and just practice, and you do get better at it. You really do get better at it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for tonight.
Thank you for sharing, Danielle.
Jamie, did you have something?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you unmuted. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say one challenge that I feel like I've had, and I can relate to a few of them definitely, but is just getting over the, I guess, the perception of like direct marketing and posting on Facebook. And I don't know, just, I don't want people to be annoyed with me and feel like I'm trying to sell them something over social media. And I've kind of gotten over that. I mean, I'm still working on it definitely, but I feel like I do get a lot of people reaching out when I do post. And so I know it helps, and I know people are listening. And so that kind of fuels my fire to keep doing it. But I don't know. That's one thing I had to get past, or, / I'm still working on getting past. And I feel like in our neighborhood, especially, there's so many of us, that are part of the team and selling isogenics, and, you just don't want to like bother people. Does anyone else struggle with that?
Yeah, I think Sophie actually wrote something about that too. I think, Debbie, if you don't mind me speaking up about social media, and I know that was really tough for me too. I think it's, I'll be honest, you just have to think people are not buying isogenics, they're buying you. And I am at the point people just reach out to me. I don't like cold market to people and just like say, hi, I just started this business and would you like to join me? Like, we don't do that. I feel like it's just being you, and kind of like, people go on social media because they're curious. So, I think that in the back of your mind, it's like, you just want to make sure that the people that you're friends with will think of you. Will they think of Jamie when they're needing to lose 10 pounds? Will they think of Jamie when they're tired of being, so tired and exhausted at 4 p.m. every day and they're looking for a solution? Will they think of Jamie when they can't pay their bills or they want to buy a new car and they don't have the money? Like, so that's what you just have to think of in your mind, rather than feeling like, you're advertising. That's why a lot of times we even say, don't even have isogenics in your post. I'll be honest, at the level I'm at now, I feel almost like I'm being too discreet and like suspicious if I don't outwardly say, especially if I'm talking about the company that's flying me places. Like, I think there's a time and place for it when you get to that level. But I think in the beginning, you create curiosity, but you don't want to look like you're hired by Isogenics to be drinking a shake, right? So it's just general posts, like, so they get to know you, but that they're like, you know what, I really admire how Jamie lives her life. She's a busy mom, she works out, she has energy, that kind of stuff. So, start there. And then look for cues to connect with people, like by their post, or when you can just reach out. Like, I like to reach out private message on things like birthdays, or if they post something, oh, hey, how was that restaurant? I've been needing to try it. Like, just connecting, but not bringing it up, because 9 times out of 10, they're watching what you're doing. And I'm just going to give you a quick example. I had a friend that came to visit me yesterday, and I'll be honest, she's a friend that we used to teach together, and I just noticed she never likes or comments on any of my stuff that has to do with Isogenics business. And I noticed it, and it was a little hurtful, but I never wanted to take it personally. But she was here and she said something about the purse that I got from Isogenics. She's like, oh, that's your purse, but it's so pretty. And I was like trying to think, and I actually went back after she left to check, and she never liked the post or commented it. So obviously she's seeing my stuff. And then she actually said something interesting at lunch. She said, you post sometimes things about haters. And it's just like we were talking about a particular situation. She's like, oh, is that who you're talking about? I'm like, no, I don't really talk about anybody in particular. And she's like, yeah, because when sometimes you'll post that and I think to myself, how does Gina have any haters? And I just remember thinking like, so her perception was like, that's so weird. So maybe I have like one or two people in mind that I'm making a post about, but there's all this other percentage of people that are thinking about me, thinking, why would anybody hate on Gina? And sometimes we gravitate toward that small negative naysayer percentage when that's not really our following. Like our following, there's so many people that are looking to be inspired by us. So I think it's it just messes in our head, right? So I think sometimes that can get in the way too. But yeah, don't think that you need to go on social media and be like, advertising isogenics and be like, my isogenic cup. I mean, don't think you have to do that, and it'll probably take that pressure off.
And we have that training. It's an isogenics business about the 10-4-1 rule. 10 posts about your lifestyle being authentic, and then 4 posts maybe about nutrition, and then you do a power post a week, about, because people do business who they know, like, and trust. So they want to get to know you. They want to like you. They want to be able to trust you. One of my consultants, she's not on the call right now, but was a follower of mine. She just came down to see me last week and came to the event. And she inboxed me that she wanted to do the business and try isogenics. I didn't know who she was. I've never seen her like any of my posts. And she's now a consultant. But she had been following me for 2 years. And she goes, I've been wanting to do isogen, but I've been following you and I like what you post. And I know I can trust you and I like your personality. So that's why I reached out to you. Never did I know anything about her. Never saw her like or comment on anything I had. And it was such a lesson to me that people are always watching you and seeing what you're about, and if they can trust you. Gina, I know you have another call to get on.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on a call in a second. I just want to give you guys also another tip about social media. Have you guys heard of like creating an avatar? And I know a lot of you might have heard it, but I don't know if you actually do it. So an avatar, and you guys can do this when you get off the phone, is you write down the potential person that you want to attract. Like you could even name the person, around what age the person is, what they're like, what kind of things they're into. And so when you are posting, you're thinking of that avatar and like what they would be attracted to. It's going to kind of help you stay focused and not, like I just mentioned, there might be 2 people that, maybe I heard this person said something about me, so now I'm posting about haters. Meanwhile, there's all these people that are like, oh, why is she posting about haters? Maybe somebody hates her, So it's like we'll sometimes put the wrong thing out there. So if you're focused on your avatar and who that person you want to attract, it'll help with your social media a lot. So just kind of take some time. The other thing is I like to think about, like-minded people. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I would love like-minded people that have that same grit that I have, the work ethic and all of that. So sometimes when I post, I have to like take myself, like if I saw somebody else post this, what would I think? And just to let you guys know, like when you look at my Facebook and my stuff, I post a lot more now about the business. It's just the level that I've reached and how I'm at, my confidence and my belief in it. So it wasn't how I built my business. So if you're in the building phase, you're still attracting people to you. So it might be a little different than somebody 6 years in who's, obviously now saying this is what I do. So try to be careful of who you watch and follow. And you can also get ideas from other people that are similar to you and then tweak it and make it your own. But yeah, the only way to really improve, like Debbie said, is just kind of doing it and just kind of recognizing, having self-awareness of what you need to work on. And like Debbie said, for me, I mean, right, Debbie, my biggest thing I'd say was I needed that approval. I really cared about what people thought, and it would sometimes just cripple me because I would literally go to type something and I would think about maybe like that 1 or 2 people that might talk about me, and it would just stop me from posting. And it would just, slow me down a lot in the beginning, but I had to just keep getting through that. So the only way to grow is to just recognize what's going on and keep practicing. So I hope this was helpful. We can keep, we can do calls like this with Debbie, I'd say like maybe once a month where we all could share, and then we could kind of share maybe the growth too that's been happening. But I think also just, think about the people that you are attracting, because sometimes we have a tendency to attract certain types, just like with relationships, right? Do you ever have a friend or yourself that has almost the same person they're dating, and then they finally get out of that relationship and they're attracting the same type of person? So sometimes we need to really shift things and get crystal clear about who we really want to work with. And that's why we don't like to spend a lot of time having a pity party over somebody that returns their pack. Because in the grand scheme of things, if they're complaining on day one and returning the pack, they're not going to be a great business builder with you anyway. So once you get very crystal clear about your intentions, it really helps too. So, but I think, let's all thank Debbie. It's 9:30 now, so we'll wrap it up.
Thank you so much, guys.